Is there a story sadder than this? I trusted both of them. This kind of betrayal is absolutely unforgivable. I had a best friend since my high school. She was a close female friend I could talk to about anything. That best friend had an affair with my husband. Of course, I was devastated and furious, but my once best friend was already pregnant. In other words, she was carrying his baby. I had no choice but to sign the divorce papers, and I was kicked out of the house. With the label of a divorced woman, I returned to my parents' home. Then, 26 years later, while shopping at a large shopping mall one day, I ran into my ex-best friend and ex-husband. My former friend, with a smug grin, approached me.
How's life as a divorced, childless woman treating you?
My kid's a genius and got a job at a major prestigious company.
At that moment, I fired back. Let me introduce you to the CEO of that company, my son. It's a company my son started while he was still a college student.
What? Your son? The CEO?
My name is Amelia Bennett, and I'm a 48-year-old woman. Standing here are my ex-best friend, Sarah, who's the same age as me, and my ex-husband, Chris, who's also my age. Their so-called stolen marriage had left me in the dust, but I'm not afraid of anything. Sam, come over here. I called my son. Standing tall and confident, my son Sam, now 26 years old, is the CEO of a company. Let me introduce him. This is Sam, the young CEO of that prestigious company your son works for. Sam, meet your father.
Nice to meet you, Dad. I'm aware you abandoned my mom and hooked up with her best friend.
What are you saying? My son? You weren't even pregnant when we divorced? Don't lie to me. You liar.
I'm not lying. Sure, I wasn't showing, but Sam is undeniably your son, Chris. Chris stammered, and Sarah was visibly shaken.
That's a lie. You're just after Chris's money, aren't you? That's why you're making up such lies? How pathetic. You're nothing more than a sore loser barking in vain. And besides, he doesn't even look like Chris. You probably had an affair, didn't you? And now you're shamelessly calling him Chris's son. Don't you have any dignity?
Not a shred of shame, because it's the truth. But you know, Sarah, you're the one who should be embarrassed. Snatching someone else's husband, insulting someone else's son. If you want, we can do a DNA test. Wouldn't that clear things up once and for all? Or are you so distrustful of people that you think I'm lying? How sad.
What did you just say?
And as for Sam, he takes after me, his mom. That's why he doesn't look like Chris. Too bad for you. Do you have any idea how I felt when you shoved those divorce papers in my face and forced me to sign them? Of course, you don't. That's just the kind of people you are. When I signed those papers, I was already pregnant with Chris's child. Even though he called me a defective, barren woman, as you can see, I gave birth to a wonderful son. My pride and joy. I raised Sam on my own, working tirelessly to support him. I never took a day off. Sometimes I played with Sam, but I always gave it my all. Maybe it's because he grew up watching me work so hard, but Sam told me he wanted to start a clothing brand for young people. He was just a high school student then, but instead of working part-time, he dove straight into the business world. Bold, don't you think? Just like me. Sam and I had countless discussions and talks about money. He studied entrepreneurship relentlessly and started his company. We struggled together, but one step at a time, we built it up. Then one day, a famous influencer wore our brand and gave it a glowing review. That skyrocketed his sales, and the company grew rapidly. Before long, he was recognized as a top-tier brand. Today, his company has many employees and is a major player in the industry. As I spoke, Chris and Sarah stood there with their mouths agape. They looked utterly shocked, but I had been waiting for this day. Any other questions? Well, these days, you can start a business with as little as $1. With the right education, even someone without a high school diploma can become a CEO. By the way, Sam graduated from Harvard.
Harvard? No way. Someone from a single mother household like yours could never get into a place like that. What nonsense. Don't believe her, Chris.
Believe it or not, it's the truth.
Mom, if you brag too much, they'll just feel worse. I know everything, by the way, about how badly Chris and Sarah treated you. Actually, after I started earning well, I hired a private investigator to look into my dad. Chris, I found out you were a womanizer back in the day, scamming women out of money and blowing it at nightclubs. When things got serious, you settled out of court, so you don't have a criminal record, but the stories are out there. And this all started when you were in college, scamming women as a college student. I don't know all the details since I wasn't there, but can you explain, Chris? Of course, you can't. If it were me, I'd be too embarrassed to show my face in public. Honestly, Mom, you're better off without him. Oh, and Chris, as for your son, my half-brother, the only reason he got into the company was because I allowed it. He was late to his final interview and even fell asleep during a group interview. Normally, he wouldn't have been hired, but I showed him mercy. Do you understand? I knew everything and still let him join. But did you know your son, despite coming from a third-rate college, acts all high and mighty and is hated by the employees? Everyone's saying they can't wait for him to get fired. Even though he's in the sales department, his performance is at the very bottom. He's a burden to the company. Oh, and Sarah, I've heard rumors about you too. When you married Chris, you were seeing 8 other men. Not in a violent sense, but that's why they all abandoned you. A match made in heaven, huh? But are you sure your son is really Chris's? Before you do a DNA test for me, maybe you should check your son first.
Sarah, is this true?
No. Our son is your child, Chris. Don't listen to this nonsense. They're just jealous of us and making things up. Like mother, like son, huh? Making up nasty rumors to try and feel better about themselves. How pathetic. Do you think I'm making this up? Harvard and CO, just stories, right?
Well then, I'll send you both the files I got from the investigator. Which one of us has more to lose if the truth gets out? I bet your son would be devastated. If I were him, I'd cut ties with you both. You've done enough to deserve it.
I had no idea Sam had grown so strong. Being a CEO isn't easy. He's clearly gone through a lot, but to speak so confidently, I can't help but feel proud of his resilience.
Chris, your son's arrogance, your shady past, Sarah's cheating rumors. There's so much dirt here. Maybe I should take a closer look into your family? Who knows, I might find something serious enough to involve the police. Men like you, who cheat on their wives and can't keep your hands to yourself, deserve nothing but contempt. Sarah, judging by how flustered you are you hiding your son's blood type? All of us here are O. But if your son is A, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? Sarah, I already know his blood type. Want me to share? Chris, wouldn't you like to know too? We checked your son's blood type during his medical checkup when he joined our company. Should I reveal everything?
Sam, go ahead. I'd love to hear it too. If he's a bee or something, Sarah won't have anywhere to run. Chris's parents always pressured me to have a child to carry on the family line. How disappointed would they be to learn their heir isn't even related to them? Chris's parents kept saying things like, have a son, or hurry up and give us an heir. Such outdated thinking. And Sarah, did you know that all the girls in our class hated you? Sarah, back in high school, no one liked you. You clung to me because you were lonely. You even stole from me once. I should have cut ties with you ages ago. But at least I got rid of Chris, so thanks for that. It's ironic, isn't it? Sam is his CO, and his father is just a sales rep. Isn't it such a strange story, right? Well, this is what a real difference in ability looks like. You were always saying, I'm the one providing for you, while pushing all the chores, housework, and dealing with your parents onto me. I wonder if Sarah can handle all of that properly. Sarah, are Chris's parents accusing you? That's hilarious. You two will always live at the bottom.
You've crossed the line. Stop digging into our past. My son is Chris's child, and blood type doesn't matter. Even if he weren't, he's still my son.
Oh, she just admitted it. Sarah, you're so stupid. Everyone knows now, and Chris looks like he's about to faint. I didn't demand child support or alimony from Chris because I didn't want a penny from trash like you. Luckily, my parents supported me back then. My dad, who was usually so calm, was furious. Anyway, Chris, Sarah, are you truly happy? Truly. Knowing each other's pasts, can you really be happy? Sam, let's go. This is a waste of time. I need to start dinner.
Sure, Mom.
With that, I walked away with Sam, leaving behind a couple arguing loudly without a care for who was watching.
Sarah, were you involved with another man? You hid it from me, didn't you? You probably came crawling back to me after he dumped you. You shameless woman. I'm kicking you and your son out of my house.
What? You were practically running marriage scams yourself. If what I heard just now is true, I don't want anything to do with you either. Oh, and let me guess. The reason you've been coming home late and acting all sweet to me lately is because you're cheating, right? You're the worst. How dare you cheat when you have such a good wife at home? You're an idiot.
What did you just say? After all I've done for you, feeding you and putting a roof over your head? Or is it that you couldn't even hold a job and decided to saddle me with another man's child? Did you secretly think you'd get away with it? Well, I'll tell you now. We're done. I'm leaving.
No, please.
Sam, never become someone like that, okay? Whatever happens, stay honest. That's why I named you Sam, because I want you to live with integrity.
Of course, Mom. Honestly, it's insulting just to be thought of as that kind of guy's kid. And if they're talking about splitting up, they can do whatever they want. Besides, it wasn't him who raised me. It was you, Grandpa and Grandma. I don't even want to call him my dad anymore. By the way, Mom, what's for dinner tonight? I'd love grilled fish. It's nutritious.
All right, let's pick up some fish on our way home. After finishing our shopping, we went back to the parking lot and drove home in Sam's car. At home, I have a new husband now, Mason. Of course, he's not Sam's biological father, but he understands and supports Sam like a good dad. Mason works as a novelist. He publishes books almost every month, many of which have become bestsellers, and he's won several prestigious awards. Despite his busy schedule, including serializing a new mystery novel, he always makes time for family.
Grilled fish tonight? That sounds delicious.
Sam, the fish is almost ready. Get out a large plate. We're having salmon.
Got it.
Both Sam and my current husband value family time. I truly think separating from Chris was the best decision I ever made. As for Sarah, I pity her. Chris was selfish and immature. Living with him would have been impossible. From the start of our marriage, Chris treated me like a maid. Sarah, you fool. You got tangled up with a man like that. I don't know if your son is even really Chris's, but one test would reveal the truth. Modern tests are incredibly accurate. It's hard to hide anything nowadays. Honestly, I feel bad for your son.
Mom, the fish is going to burn.
What? Oh no.
I'll eat it if it's a little burnt. It's big and fatty.
All right, Sam, pass me the plate. I'm living a fulfilling life now. Not in terms of money, but with peace of mind. Honestly, remembering Chris and Sarah feels like a waste of brain space. A few days later in the morning, Sam had gone to work, and my husband was in his study writing. The doorbell rang. Delivery? When I opened the door, there was Chris. What? What are you doing here? I couldn't hide my shock at his sudden visit. Chris's face was bright red, whether from anger or embarrassment.
My son got fired.
What?
It's your fault. You brainwashed my real son and got him to quit his jobs. What are you going to do about it?
Oh, I see. I regained my composure and replied confidently. Your son, yes, I know. Sam told me all about it. He said your son embezzled money from the company. You didn't know that? Well, I suppose you wouldn't want to admit it. Spending the stolen money on luxury items and bars, huh? With that kind of spending, of course the bars treated him well. But now that he's broke, no one will give him the time of day. On top of that, he couldn't do his job, wouldn't take notes even when his seniors tried to teach him, and finally, he ran off with company money. He's like a child trying to hide wet sheets. Tell him to learn from Sam. That boy always communicates, collaborates, and does his best, stealing and living it up while staying at the company. That's ridiculous. Don't you agree? Or are you here to ask me to help with your son's job hunt? If so, no way. Never.
Shut up. You've ruined everything. I'm going to sue you for damages. I have the right to be happy too. This is too much. I was right to leave you. What kind of CO buys their way to the top with money and connections? This is a scam. And look at this mansion. You're obviously involved in something shady. You can't fool me.
This house belongs to my husband.
Amelia, what's going on? Is there a guest?
My husband appeared, and as soon as he saw him, Chris started trembling.
What? Is that you, Mason?
Wait, is that Chris? I recognize that voice. It's been a while. What have you been up to all this time?
Honey, what's going on? How do you know Chris? You shouldn't have met him before. As Chris tried to sneak away, my husband grabbed him by the collar.
Hey, Chris. Trying to run away from me? After all the trouble I went through to look out for you, you've got some nerve. Amelia, how exactly are you connected to this guy?
Well, Chris is Sam's biological father. I told you before, remember? My ex-husband who cheated on me and forced a divorce. That's him.
I see. I've heard all about your misdeeds. Amelia, fun fact, When I was a middle school troublemaker, this guy was my lackey. He was a scrawny, crybaby lackey. So, you hurt my Amelia, huh? Should I call everyone over for old times' sake?
Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Mason, have mercy.
No way. You hurt my Amelia. Let's have a little chat. Amelia, make some tea.
Oh, okay. I was so stunned by the sudden development that I could only follow my husband's instructions and prepare tea. Then, my husband sat Chris down and calmly drank tea while scolding him.
Sam told me everything. You, the so-called father, were involved in something close to marriage fraud, living it up on other people's money. Should I call Thomas? You were terrified of him, weren't you? What's the plan? I still have connections with him. If I tell him about you, Thomas will show up in no time. What do you think?
Anything but that, please. Mason,
I no longer had any role to play as my husband berated Chris relentlessly. When he finally let Chris go, Chris muttered something before scurrying off.
I'll never come back. I promise. I'll stay out of Amelia's life for good.
In a strange way, I was grateful to my husband for saving me from a difficult situation. Thank you, honey.
It's been a while since I got to really let loose. I've been a little irritable lately, struggling with my writing. So, Sam's father, huh? It's like bitter roots producing sweet fruit. I can't believe Sam is Chris's son. Sam is hardworking, disciplined, and principled.
Mason burst out laughing, and I couldn't help but admire his strength. We decided to keep his troublemaker past a secret from Sam. When Sam returned home later that day, he immediately started venting.
Mom, listen to this. It's ridiculous.
What happened?
Chris's son didn't just embezzle company funds. He also harassed female clients, and his reputation was absolutely terrible. It's beyond saving. Worse still, he leaked confidential company information to a rival company. I'm planning to sue. After everything, he took advantage of being hired, and I just can't forgive him anymore.
I see. That sounds exhausting. Later, Sam filed a criminal complaint against Chris's son. News of his actions spread quickly, with interviews from anonymous employees condemning him.
That guy was the worst. Never worked, always goofing off. He bragged about going to New York University, but come on, that's a rich kid's school. It meant nothing to us.
We always thought he'd do something shady, but this? Unbelievable. Good riddance.
The public backlash was harsh, but Chris's son brought it on himself. For someone the same age as Sam, the difference in character and experience is staggering. Sarah must have spoiled him, but that's none of my concern. Embezzlement carries serious consequences. I wonder if Sarah or Chris will pay the damages. Still, it's good that the company got rid of a liability. Chris's son was eventually caught by the police at a female acquaintance's house and arrested. Sam showed no mercy, pursuing damages against him. Chris ended up covering what he could, and the case was closed. Chris's son is in prison at such a young age. Who knows how many years he'll serve? It's pitiful, but he brought it upon himself with his extravagance and schemes to flee. Serves him right. A few days later, Sarah showed up at my house.
This is enough. You've ruined my family. I had no idea you were this vindictive. My son is now a shut-in, being mocked by everyone. What are you going to do about it? How will you take responsibility? And you bled us dry financially. You're infuriating. You're a horrible woman.
I calmly responded to Sarah's outburst. Ruined your family? Weren't you the one who ruined mine first? And if you want to point fingers, maybe you should look at your own role in all this. Shouting won't change the outcome. And wasn't it your son who embezzled funds from Sam's company and sold confidential information? My son was furious, and it's only natural he filed for damages. A mother who steals someone else's husband and a son who steals someone else's money. Like mother, like son. Truly ridiculous.
What did you say? If it weren't for me, you'd have been a lonely outcast at school. And now you have the nerve to talk to me like this after everything I did for you? You accused us of paternity fraud, and now things with Chris are strained. I just wanted to be happy. Why are you ruining that? You're such a vile person. You're worse than an animal. The worst of the worst. I'll never forgive you. I'll tell all our classmates about you.
Do you even have any friends besides me? Everyone hated you back then, didn't they? Who's going to believe anything you say? Do you even understand your position? Even if you were right, the fact that you don't realize how much everyone disliked you is honestly astounding. Do you even know your former classmates' phone numbers? Or are you just pretending? How sad. Instead of wasting time making threats, why don't you pay the rest of the damages? Your son embezzled tens of millions, but you've only managed to return about 3 million so far, right? Don't insult me. This company is something my son and I built together. The compensation doesn't even come close to what we're owed. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Instead of blaming others, why don't you work and return even a single dollar to Sam's company? Or do you think I'm wrong?
You're so loud. You think I'll shut up just because you're making sense? What am I supposed to do? We don't have the money. My son doesn't want to work anymore, and he's Sam's half-brother, isn't he? Can't you just let it go a little? Why are you only blaming us?
Because you've done things worth blaming. When I shouted, Sarah fell silent. You're trying to act like the victim here, but we're the victims. Stop twisting the narrative to make yourself look innocent. You know, back in school, people disliked me because you clung to me all the time. You ruined my youth. I wanted to make friends and join clubs, but who got in the way of that? You. And the fact that I kept convincing myself you were my best friend. What a fool I was. Do you even realize it? You're the kind of person who can't survive without clinging to someone else. Honestly, it's pathetic. You don't understand people's feelings, and you don't even comprehend what they're saying. I don't know how you found my address, but you're a nuisance. Just leave already. You're nothing but trouble.
Nuisance.
At that, Sarah began crying. My scolding seemed to have hit a nerve. But to me, her tears were meaningless. She was no longer my friend, let alone my best friend. I left her crying at the door and shut it firmly behind me. Through the door, I could still hear her sobbing.
Why? I just wanted to be happy. Amelia, you're so mean. I trusted you.
Hearing her loud wailing, I grew increasingly irritated. I opened the door again and snapped at her. Hey, could you leave now? Crying at my doorstep is a problem. You're not a child, so cut it out. I have neighbors, you know. You're such a spoiled brat. If you don't leave now, I'll call the police. Go home now. After I practically yelled at her, Sarah got up and walked off somewhere. Once I was sure she had left the premises, I closed the door again. Seriously, what are they even thinking? Refusing to pay damages and blaming us for everything. Honestly, I should have cut ties with her ages ago. It's partly my fault for spoiling her, but Sarah is just too selfish. I'll never look back. If she shows up again, I'll call the police for real. Later, I heard from mutual acquaintances that Chris was forced to resign after rumors about his son's arrest spread through his company. He apparently received severance pay, but Sam visited his house and claimed it as partial payment for the damages. Now penniless, Chris, Sarah, and their shut-in son live a miserable life. Their son, addicted to video games, refuses to leave his room or work. Meanwhile, Chris juggles multiple part-time jobs from morning to night, and Sarah works both at nightclubs and during the day as a cashier, where she's constantly pushed around. They reportedly eat only one meal a day. But I feel no sympathy. Sarah was the one who destroyed my happiness, and Chris agreed to it. One day, I received a call from Chris's mother, who was once my mother-in-law.
You were right all along. Please, kick Sarah out and remarry Chris.
At one point, I had helped Chris get his finances in order. His household was drowning in debt, but I managed to clear it and put them in the black. But wasn't it Chris who abandoned me?
Well, yes, but...
And who agreed to kick me out and welcome Sarah? That was you, wasn't it? Don't ever contact me again. If you call again. I hung up the phone mid-sentence. So this is what people mean when they say, serves you right.